Congress. Congressman, great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What did you learn from this all?
Well, we didn't have sufficient answers. We don't know why it is that Robinhood didn't have proper disclosure. I mean, why couldn't they anticipate that they may have a capital requirement and have gotten loans or guarantees for that, or they should have disclosed to the retail investors. I also thought that they should have asked more questions of the one retail investor there, and there wasn't sufficient attention on the disadvantages to the retail investors.
In terms of the disclosures, what sorts of disclosures are you talking about? Is it just a more advanced notice before that capital call came into Robinhood? Because it seemed like things spiraled out of control so quickly that they disclosed and they did what they did as quickly as they could have. So what sorts of disclosures are you talking about?
Sure. Well, when people sign up on Robinhood, they don't know that Robinhood, if they have liquidity issues, may stop them from trading, especially when they're trying to buy things. And so Robinhood either should disclose, saying if you're a customer of ours, there are circumstances where we're going to halt trading, and here's where we're going to do it. Or what would be better is if they had, like many other financial institutions, the proper arrangement so that they have access to capital to cover a situation like that.
Based on what you learned today, if you did learn, answers to certain questions, is there a pursuit of legislation at this point? I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of grandstanding, and I understand that's what Congress does in terms of wanting to protect your constituents and asking the certain quote-unquote right questions. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what's the result of this?
Well, several pieces of legislation. We should have these disclosure requirements that I'm talking about. We should have higher capital requirements for companies like Robinhood. We should make sure that the clearinghouses have clear conflict of interest standards so that they're not having a different set of rules for hedge funds. And we should have conflict of interest laws for companies like Robinhood. As you know, they provide a lot of their data to Citadel. Now, I don't think there's any evidence, and I didn't hear any evidence today that leads me to believe that there was some conspiracy between Citadel and Robinhood, but there are conflicts of interest, and those need to be better addressed. And those are all areas for regulation.
Hi, sir. It's Brian Kelly. So I'm curious, the issue that we're having in big tech, and then since you're from Silicon Valley, is that you all have all these terms of services, and everybody just hits click and moves on.
Right.
So how would that be different if Robinhood said, oh, by the way, we might shut down trading? Nobody's going to read it. They're going to hit click and move on. So how does that solve the problem?
Brian, that's a very fair point. These terms of services don't mean much. And that's why I think it has to be informed consent. It has to be in simple language. It has to be in plain language. And it has to be things that users can understand. And it can't be conditional for the entire service. It can't be these 40, 50-page agreements. But I agree with you that the terms of service and the type of consent for data has not worked, and we need to do much better. I take your point.
Congressman, great to get your thoughts. We really appreciate your time. Good to hear from you.
Thank you.
Congressman Khanna.